It's time for
the New York Yankees!
Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the PTTK show right after Derek's show every Friday night and Monday morning. Just a couple housekeeping notes really quick. I just have a family wedding to go to this next weekend. So I'm actually going to be in New York. I'm looking to go to a game perhaps. I think we're going to go do a game. I just wanted to let you guys know because there's a chance that maybe there will be like a miss on the upload or something along those lines. I'm going to do the best I can. I thought about maybe even doing like a vlog sort of situation at one of the games, but nonetheless, that's what I got from you guys, but I will make sure to kind of keep you abreast on what's going on in terms of that. So first order of business, the Martian, Jasson Dominguez, who is absolutely tearing it up right now in AAA, hitting .375 with 2 home runs and 40 at-bats. To my understanding, they have him in left, a couple games over in center field as well. So with that, Trent Grisham not really playing that well currently. His Savant page looks pretty good, but is he turning back into what he's been his entire career, which was my fear, to be honest with you. Most of my fear being that, when they gave him the $22 million option, that he was going to go back to just being what he was his entire career, which is a defensive first, fourth outfielder. It's kind of looking like that right now to me, to be honest, guys. I'm not even gonna try to put lipstick on a pig. But he's only hitting .162 in 37 at-bats, 48 plate appearances. So he's got some walks. The Savant page looks pretty good. If you guys look it up, it looks good. Typically, maybe he'll break out. Maybe he does. Typically, by the way, Big Boss Baby Bomber, typically Derek does link it. He just probably forgot to tonight. That's all good. So you guys, Action and Big Boss, you guys drop your comments for later for the Q&A. Usually it works when people ask questions, but if there aren't that many questions, that's cool. We'll end the stream a little earlier. But you guys let me know. Who do you think he'll can net us? I'm going to get into that in 1 second. But yeah, the Martian, he's going to probably play his way back into the major leagues if Grisham keeps doing this. I mean, how are you going to keep running Grisham out if he's going to hit .162? I don't understand. If he's hitting .162, what would be the point of having him on the team? I know it's $22 million, and the Yankees are pretty stubborn when it comes to things like this, but they did eat DJ LeMahieu's contract. They did eat Aaron Hicks's contract. So if it's only $22 million for a year and Dominguez is tearing it up and he's younger and he's got more promise and a higher ceiling, why not have him up there? Look, the only reason I will say on the Yankees' perspective why Dominguez is even in AAA right now is they want him to get everyday at-bats. They want him to get everyday playing time, and I'm okay with that. I would almost rather him be in AAA getting everyday playing time rather than riding the pine in the major leagues as the fourth outfielder. But if Trent Grisham starts to suck and it's like mid-June and he's hitting .180, I'm sorry, at that point you're going to have to make the switch that Grisham is the fourth outfielder, cut Grichuk, because I don't want to see him anymore. You cut Grichuk and Dominguez would come back up and be the starter. I think that's not a unreasonable thing to do. All right, Luis Gil. Let's look at the pitcher spotlight really quick for today. Luis Gil, just generally my thoughts on his start today. I didn't think he looked great. I thought that, look at his line there, 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, three earned runs, 3 walks, 2 Ks, really nothing special. I wasn't really that impressed, honestly. Like, all right, a couple good pitches here and there, but he not really a swing and miss stuff. The fastball doesn't look at all what it was like when he was a rookie in 2024 when he won Rookie of the Year. The swing and miss is not there, and just based off of the pitching depth that the Yankees do have, I mean, I have it written down here like fully healthy. We got Fried, Cole, Rodon, Schlittler. So that's the front 4 right there. And then I don't know about you guys. You guys let me know in the chat. I'd rather throw Weathers over Gil at this point. He had a great outing last game. They lost. He hasn't gotten any run support. I saw that stat. that so far in his starts as a Yankee, or the innings that he's pitched as a Yankee, he's gotten 0 run support from the Yankee offense, which is abysmal. It's kind of like when Jacob deGrom was on the Mets and he had like a 1.5 ERA and the guy had like 8 wins on the year and he had a losing record because the Mets just couldn't score. But to me, I'd rather throw Weathers over Heel. So, and then we got Warren, we got Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, LaGrange, Clark Schmidt, who's coming back from Tommy John surgery. But right there, where is the room for Luis Heel? He becomes a little expendable. So at that point, I think that trading him should be on the table. He won Rookie of the Year. He's got good stuff. I think he can be a good pitcher in this league. He seemed to lost it a little bit. What you're going to need is a team that thinks that they can fix him. But unfortunately, at this point, he's lost so much value. He's lost, and Mary Beth is right. No control, no command, gets to 0-2, then throws 9 more pitches, totally used Weathers. Absolutely. He didn't have that put-away pitch whatsoever. Mary Beth, I like Mary Beth. She's cool, and I totally agree with her point right there. But, like, he didn't have the put-away pitch at all, didn't have the swing and miss. The command is gone. You got to get a team that thinks that they can fix him. That's the only way that he'll be able to get dealt. But at the same time, also Action BJ, great point. His body language says he's not a believer in his own stuff either. Yeah, you could see it in his body language. A couple times, frustrated. If there was a tough play in the field, or that kind of the physical just deflated. There was a few times tonight where I noticed that. His belt is awful. I hated it. I hated the belt he was wearing as well. I agree with my dad about that. But what can you net for Luis Heel? I mean, he's a starting pitcher. He did win Rookie of the Year, so you're arguing that, and he could be packaged up with something else. What do the Yankees need right now? What do they need right now? I think is the primary factor. I think they need bullpen help. I think that's pretty obvious. I think that they don't have enough high leverage arms. I think that they obviously need a third baseman. Ryan McMahon has been doo-doo to start the season. I mean, he's played pretty well defensively, but not even so. All of his throws are in the dirt. Rice has saved at least like 8 errors from him, I swear. If you watch the plays, he has thrown so many balls in the dirt. They had him play shortstop the other night to get Rosario in the lineup. And my thing about that, guys, I understand that McMahon is a plus defender, but McMahon is a plus defender over at third. Rosario, his natural position is shortstop. He came up as a shortstop in the Mets minor league system. Why not put Rosario at short and McMahon at third? McMahon is a Gold Glove winner or I don't actually think he is because Arenado was in the National League for so many years, but he's a Gold Glove caliber fielding third baseman, not a shortstop. Why not Rosario at short? Why McMahon? I didn't really get that. Hi, Ryan. How are you? Caballero, not impressed at all. He's going to be a utility bench bat. To me, Caballero is basically Oswaldo, just Oswaldo's a switch hitter. Caballero, Oswaldo, they kind of go hand in hand. I almost like Oswaldo a little bit more, but Caballero is a really good runner, and he's irritating on the base path, so I hope he can figure it out and at least be like a nice bench piece for them. I think that overall, though, for Luis Heel, what are you going to get for him? It's tough to say. I mean, Aaron Ashby maybe in Milwaukee. That'd be nice. I'd like him. You got to think about who needs a starting pitcher. It's rare that deals of significance really happen early in the season. They don't really happen until at least June. I think the Devers trade last year with the Giants and the Red Sox, that was kind of out of the blue. It was very early in the season. And that had a lot to do, I think, more so with his whole kind of attitude. I don't think the Red Sox were really down with that, but anyways, Luis Heel, not very impressed. Send him to the sun. I'm not so down for it. Next thing I wanted to talk about was Paul Goldschmidt. Now, Paul Goldschmidt, not that I think he's like a bad player or anything. He's had a fabulous career. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's on a 1-year contract for $4 million as the bench bat. But this is my point about that. If you think about it this way, when Volpe comes off the IL and they activate him, who's going to get sent down? Probably going to send down J.C. Escara. Because are they going to send down Goldschmidt? No, he's making $4 million. Are they going to send down Caballero? No, he's a utility player. He can play all over the field. I don't see them sending down. I don't see them sending down anybody else really. Grichuk is their fourth outfielder. He's making 2.5, so they probably won't. Ahmed Rosario, they're not going to send him down either. Grichuk is the guy that I would just DFA, by the way, and I would just rather have, Rosario's played the outfield, so has Caballero. I'd seriously rather have them be the fourth outfielder, so to speak, over Grichuk. I guess they'll DFA him, but $2.5 million is the only reason why I don't think they will. $2.5 million on a 1-year deal. As far as, Oswaldo's making 1.2 technically, but as far as like JC Escara, he's still in pre-arbitration, right? He's making like league minimum. So I would assume they maybe DFA Grichuk, but I can see them giving a little bit of pause on it just because of the $2.5 million. And if they DFA, and let's say they send down Escara because he's got options and it's a lot cheaper. Grichuk doesn't have options, and I'm trying to think like Brian Cashman does right now. Well, then who's your backup catcher? Ben Rice? I just said in Derek's show, I don't want him to catch anymore. I want him to catch in case of an emergency. I'm okay with that. But I want him to play first just to keep his body healthy and for him to play more games. Catcher is a physically demanding position. It beats you up. That's why what Cal Raleigh did is so impressive last year. I don't want to see him catch games. I want him to play first so he hits 40 jacks. I think he could even hit 50 in his career at some point, maybe even this season if he stays healthy. But if you're catching, you're taking way more nights off. And Grichuk is just, all right, Major League spring training invite, and if he makes the team out of spring, great. Depth, fine. And they want Dominguez and Jones to get everyday at-bats in the minor leagues, so they sign that guy. But I don't see it. I would DFA Grichuk absolutely if Volpe comes up, but the only thing I think that they may be thinking is $2.5 million, and they are not going to want to eat $2.5 million for Anthony Volpe. That would just be my thing on that. I just think that Paul Goldschmidt is an awkward fit as a bench bat. He can only DH and he can only play first. He's a good veteran guy, hits lefties really well, but if you're not going to play him against lefties, Ben Rice is supposed to get at-bats against lefty starters this year to develop that for him. If you're not going to give him at-bats against lefties, then why is Goldschmidt even on the team? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. That's, again, an asset mismanagement thing. I talked about that with the Cade Winquist thing last night, the little short that I posted last night. But I don't really think that makes too much sense to me. Anyways, let me go through some of these questions now. What do you think Heel can net us? I'll answer that a little bit more serious. I don't really know. It depends on what teams want. It depends on who gets hurt, starter-wise, who needs a starter. I just think that Luis Gil is absolutely expendable. I'm looking more so about position-wise. I think they need another reliever. I think they need another infielder, preferably right-handed, somebody who doesn't strike out a lot. The Royals would never do it, but Miguel Garcia, somebody like that. Plus, Miguel Garcia's got beef with the whole Yankees team, so that's not going to happen. You think the Yankees need to fire the batting coach or the hitting coach? I don't think so. I think it's too early. Again, it is only April 10th. It's only been a couple weeks of the season. I think you got to give it a little bit of time, but it hasn't looked great, especially over the last few games. Striking out a whole lot. You don't really see the Yankees fire coaches in the middle of the season. It only happened a couple years ago. I think in 2023 it was when they missed the playoffs. They fired their hitting coach in the middle of the season, and that's the only time I've ever seen the Yankees do anything like that. So I don't think he's lighting the world on fire. I'm not that impressed by him. But, dude, honestly, hire Teacher Man. Aaron Judge is private hitting coach. But doesn't that say a lot to you guys? That Aaron Judge sees a private hitting coach in the offseason. He doesn't even really work with the Yankees coaching. Just throwing that out there. Can you explain the Cade Winquist pickup? What the hell was that? That's the Yankees. They liked his stuff. They liked what he had. And they chose Paul Blackburn over him because Paul Blackburn makes more money, which I don't get. Again, they should have at least had one appearance in there. There was opportunities to have him there. I covered this in my short last night. If you guys want to watch that, it's on my channel. You can just kind of watch it. But I give my more detailed take on that. But I'm pretty upset about it. I don't like the way the Yankees handled that at all. They're gonna have to DFA McMahon. I can't see anyone wanting to take that contract. Yeah. McMahon right now is he's got 2 years left at $16 million. $16 million for this year and for next year. Now, there may not be baseball next season. We don't know what's going to happen with that, but he's a free agent in 28. But yeah, I don't see how somebody wants that. If the Yankees manage to deal him, you can bet that they're going to be eating a large chunk of that money. And look, he's a plus defender. He's a plus defender. The throws haven't looked great, but he is a plus defender, but he cannot hit. He cannot hit a baseball. It's like that scene from Moneyball. If he's a good hitter, then why doesn't he hit good? it's that. I don't think that anybody's going to take that contract. Leave Rosario at third. I think Grichuk gets cut for Volpe. Yeah, Grichuk. The Yankees have already shown that they're out on heel. I think Warren would be a good long man in the pen. Get rid of Blackburn and Yarby. No, I like Yarbrough. I'm okay to keep Yarbrough, honestly. I'm okay with the funky kind of... And he always does okay, I think, in the long relief role. Heel for me is the guy who's kind of out of a job. I don't see how fully healthy he would be in this rotation. I'd rather throw Weathers. I'd rather throw Will Warren in the 5 slot over Luis Heel, I think. I'd rather go with Weathers or Warren. And then you got, the guys in the minor leagues like Legrand and Elmer Rodriguez. Schmidt would be a good in the pen too. He can throw strikes until, unlike Hill. If Schmidt was healthy, I think he's the 5 starter. I think that the Yankees probably would have him as the 5th starter. But low key, if Schmidt were healthy, he's kind of expendable via trade too. And I think he could get you a pretty good return on the trade market just because he's got a lot of years of control right now. His minor league numbers weren't good either. So we need a whole new middle infielder. Yeah, honestly, are you a fan of Matt Shaw as a possible trade acquisition? No, I'm not. Shortstop would be the biggest hole along with catcher. I don't know why I said Brian Shaw. Brian Shaw, the former Nuggets Colt Luck. Yeah. Matt Shaw, with the Cubs? No, I don't think so, honestly. I don't think I'd be a huge fan of that. Do you think maybe the Yankees have too many coaches? It's a too many cooks in the kitchen scenario with them. Everybody's got that many coaches at this point. I think that it's kind of like that's just the way that the game is right now. I don't see baseball having a long stoppage. It's not like the NHL in 2004 where people didn't care baseball in such an upward trajectory. I think it'd be absolutely devastating for baseball if they took next year off. I think that would be the worst thing they could do. I think Ryan's right. Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, the two faces of the league right now. I think that baseball has kind of overtaken the NBA as the second sport in the country right now. I think football is king. Football, look at the numbers. Football is king. But basketball has really struggled in popularity of late, a lot because they have aging stars. Nobody's really kind of emerged as the next face of the league and the load management. So baseball's in a really good place right now, popularity-wise. Yeah, the numbers support it. If you go look at the World Series, I think 51 million people watched Game 7 of the World Series last year against across the world between Japan, the United States, and Toronto. Canada, really. Hopefully we get to see Dominguez get called up soon. There's no way you hold him back if the offense is struggling this bad. Yeah, I don't think so. If Dominguez is hitting 350 and he's lighting it up and he looks pretty good in the field and Grisham is hitting 150 in the major leagues, then I don't see how you keep running Grisham out there. Wells is scared to strike out. That's why he swings at the first pitch. He is a doubles hitter. He just doesn't want to be. He wants to hit home runs, and he keeps having this loopy swing, and I'm not down for it. He needs to make more contact, strikes out way too much. And it's not like catching is a very deep position in the major leagues. But it kind of is what it is, I guess. The NHL, I think, has eclipsed the NBA. I don't know if I agree with that. I think the NBA is still number 3. I think the NHL is still 4th. I love the NHL, by the way. I love watching hockey. I think hockey is the best product to see live in person. I did an internship for the Florida Panthers, but I grew up a Ranger fan. NHL definitely been better to watch. ESPN just sucks with their broadcasting. I think it's tough to broadcast hockey. It's just hard to watch it on TV. The puck is small. That's why I said it's the best in-person product. I think it's just difficult to do it on TV. But, all right. Anyways, Yankees lose. That sucked. Jason Dominguez is playing well. Grisham is not. Nobody's hitting. Aaron Judge has got to get going, guys. Aaron Judge, what is Aaron Judge doing? Aaron Judge is hitting like 226 or something like that. He has not been playing well whatsoever. He right now on his Savant page, and he turns 34, by the way, on April 26th. So he's getting up there. But average exit velo is 87.8, 33 percentile. The squared up percentile, K percent. So the sweet spot, the squared up, like all of that is down, way down. His fielding is fine, but he's not really squaring the ball up, I think, look, I'm not really worried about Judge. All right, he's too good of a player. Maybe he has a bit of a down year this year, or he starts to, he's starting to get older and he, instead of hitting 60 home runs, he hits 50, or instead of 50, he hits 40. I think he's still going to have a phenomenal year, just maybe not an Aaron Judge year. But, you know, the year he hit 62 home runs, he did start out really slow. It was only really last year where he started out really hot to start the year. So I think this is pretty typical from him. But I don't really know who anybody is, either player-wise or team-wise, until like Memorial Day weekend. So anyway, I'm a Rangers fan. You definitely got it better than me if you're a Lightning fan. Yeah, dude. What's your long-term career goals, TK? I don't really know. I'm 25, so I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, I'm out here being an actor in Los Angeles, and I just signed with a theatrical agent, so that's very exciting. So I feel like we're progressing in the right direction. But my long-term career goals, be a professional actor. Not even necessarily a movie star. That would all be gravy, but just a working actor where I can make enough money for myself from acting to live or do this for a living with all of you guys, where this channel gets big enough where I've turned this into a bit of a career for myself. So that, I think, would be the long-term goals. Thank you for the question, Steven. So I think that's all for me tonight. Yankees lose. They suck. They got to start hitting. Luis Seal to the sun. Take that belt off. All right, guys. I'll see you next time.